Hello there, lovers of cardboard and everything plastic. My name is Dylan, this is Cardboard and Plastic, and today I'm going to be reviewing Star Wars Legion. Star Wars Legion is a two-player miniature battle game that takes place in a galaxy far, far away. Of course, one player will be taking care of the Rebel Alliance, the other player will be controlling the evil Galactic Empire. The game takes place over 6 rounds and will have players issuing orders, moving their troops using a movement template system, destroying the other player's squads, and battling it out with dice. Alright, so do all of these systems come together and create the greatest miniature game in the galaxy? Yeah, they do.
Great kid! Don't get cocky!
Okay, so I can't actually make that bold of a statement. Because let's be honest, Star Wars Legion is in infancy at this point. It is very possible that FFG could of course release an expansion that could just break all semblance of balance, or that the system itself could just age really, really poorly.
When 900 years old you reach, look as good you will not.
That being said, just like the twin sons of Tatooine, the future of Star Wars Legion seems extremely bright, with a gluttony of expansions coming and a very healthy community. If you couldn't tell already, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I really enjoy this game. I might even consider myself a little bit biased. So instead of kind of regaling about what I really like about the game, I'm going to tell what I think is sort of Star Wars Legion's greatest strength, and that's its accessibility. Now, accessibility for me does not just mean the rules. The rules are pretty easy to understand, but by no means are you going to master them in one day. It's going to take a couple games to kind of get everything pat down. Nonetheless, for new players, this system may work actually really good because the movement template system gives someone who's never used sort of rulers or anything like that a nice sort of ease into actually using that sort of system. Line of sight is as simple as just saying, wait, could this troop actually see that troop? If so, they have line of sight. Now, of course, things might get a little bit more complicated as you add various terrain elements to your games. The great thing is, though, that Star Wars Legion has a nice built-in system to avoid conflicts between players. You basically just roll a die, it's 50-50, sort of a coin flip. The big thing for accessibility for me in this game is actually the price. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a miniatures game, so by no means is it cheap. This is still a money trap.
It's a trap!
Still, Star Wars Legion is pretty reasonably priced for what it is. The core set comes around $90, and if you divide that between 2 people, it's even cheaper. The expansions are all roughly around $25, at least for the various troops expansions, with vehicles being slightly more expensive. Now, of course, competitors are trying to rush into this sort of cheaper market and are releasing cheaper models or just cheaper versions of their games in order to get more people to play their games and to compete with Star Wars Legion. So whether this price accessibility holds up in the future, we will have to wait and see. There is a positive and a negative factor to this accessibility and price. Since the miniatures themselves are cheaper than a lot of other games out there, they of course look slightly cheaper. The sculpts are not the worst on the market, but they are certainly not the best. The mold lines can be extremely annoying, appearing on the sides of faces or the sides of helmets, or just in some really annoying spots that are really hard to get rid of. FFG also uses a softer plastic, which I actually like because it makes the miniatures less brittle. In fact, I find them to actually be pretty durable. They're easy to paint for beginners and veterans alike. Another drawback to these cheaper miniatures is they're not customizable straight out of the box. They don't come with alternative poses. A few miniatures have alternative weapons that you can swap out, but for the most part, the miniatures come just as is. Still, if you look online, there are lots of people who have found really fun and creative ways to customize their miniatures, putting alien heads onto various rebel troopers and other such things. Star Wars is a big, beautiful world that can be customized to your liking, and these miniatures, while not necessarily customizable straight out of the box, veterans can have fun finding inventive ways to make them their own. Beginners alike too also just have their own way to kind of get into this hobby. A last point for accessibility in this game is the fact that it only features 2 factions. Now, veterans of miniature games are probably going to see that as a weakness, but for someone who's never tried a miniature game, it is kind of nice to jump into a game where you really only have to learn 2 factions. You only have to know how the Empire works and how you might counter them, or vice versa. So the big takeaway for me is that I love this game for its accessibility. It's easy to get into, it's easy to learn, and it's just easy to enjoy the system. If you've ever loved Star Wars any time in your life and you really just wanted to kick ass as Darth Vader, this is the miniature game for you. You can easily jump in with a friend, enjoy kicking their butt as Darth Vader, or save the galaxy as Luke Skywalker. And as the game continues to grow, there'll be new heroes to add to your armor, just like they recently announced Palpatine. Even more exciting unit types have been announced, like stationary turrets. That seems to be able to keep this game interesting for a long time coming. So I think if you've ever wanted to try a miniature game, if you really like Star Wars, go out, buy this. I don't think you will regret it. If you hate Star Wars, this might not be the game for you. If you are a veteran miniature game player, you may not like this as the miniatures aren't to the standard of most other miniature game out there. The rules are kind of simplified in a way that some miniature game players may not like. So in the end, I give Star Wars Legion 2 thumbs up. Hi there, I'm assuming if you got through the video, you must have really liked it. And if you did, please remember to like the video itself, leave a comment, and hit that big red subscribe button for more content. If you'd like to check out some of my older content, there will be a link to check out a lot of my older reviews. And also, if you're a miniature painter, you can check out some of my miniature painting tutorials. Alright, I'll see you next video. Bye.